Hi there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading. This is Yetta Pearl, and this is your reading for the week of November 1st through 6th of 2021. So there have been some amazing messages coming through this week. And so let's see if yours is also that amazing. I'm sure it will be, just because angels always come through for us, right? That whether you use the language angels or not, it's all the same. Like, we're all talking about the same thing. This is your divine guidance. This is your higher self. This is messages from Creator, from heaven, from divine, from God, from whatever language you want to use. We're all talking about the same thing. We're talking about intuition. We're talking about vibration and the law of attraction and like all those things. It's all the same thing. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Looks good. First thing your angels want to tell you is to believe in yourself. Who are you? Who are you? What qualities are integral to you? What do you see when you look at yourself? Maybe in a physical way, maybe in any other way, emotional way, spiritual way, integrity way. Who are you? Your angels, they're like your biggest cheerleaders. You were born with these guardian angels, right? And that is their job, is to stick with you your entire life. They don't ever go anywhere else. They don't ever have somebody else to look after. They are yours and yours alone. There's also all the archangels, and they are looking after all of us. And they can be everywhere, thousands, millions of places, all at the same time. They don't have any limits for time and space or knowledge or love, So any and all of the archangels can be with you at any given time. You just have to ask. Your own guardian angels as well. If you want them to give you advice, now they're always trying to communicate with you, right? But if you have specific questions, you have to ask. They can't just leap in and save you from something that you're about to do. The only time they can intervene without you asking them is if it's a life-threatening situation and it's not your time. Otherwise, they are bound by your free will, right? So to get the advice, to really get the messages, you need to ask them. And that's true for all the angels. And then you need to be aware of the signs and the answers as they come to you. You have to get out of question mode, get into answer mode, so that you can receive the answers. Now, anytime that you're having trouble believing in yourself, ask your angels to show you proof of how awesome you are. They have a lot of that proof, and they're ready to share. They love nothing more. Like, you're their priority. And so they wish that you could see yourself the way they see you. Because you're this amazing, perfect being. Now, we all have things that we want to work on, things that we want to make progress on. We want change. As soon as we don't change, then things get not fun, right? So we always want to be changing and progressing and getting what we perceive as better at things. And as soon as we stop doing that, then things just go all to hell, right? So believing in yourself is a big thing, because that's how you get the motivation, I think, to continue growing. It feels like you've been letting external forces slow down your progress. Yeah, it's almost like your real self, you're covering that up because something exterior to you indicated that, I don't know, they didn't value you or something like that. Who cares? Don't care what somebody else, or maybe it was your employer, maybe it was I don't know, something that you were working hard on and didn't work out, and kind of knocked the stuffings out of you. That's not a reason to stop trying. It's not a reason to stop working on you. It's not a reason to stop doing things, right? Do what lines up with your best self. And that's how you continue to become your own self, and to believe in yourself. Yeah, you have to. You have to, because who else are you? You're nobody else. You are you. Yeah. Okay. And you know what to do. So this could be, a specific instance, or it could be a general thing that you're pretty good at reading your own intuition, at knowing who you are, at understanding, what your next move is, all that stuff, right? But like, don't forget that yes, you do know, right? It's like you're second guessing yourself all of a sudden. And you're not usually like that. You're normally pretty confident. You're normally, you know who you are. It's like you're losing sight of that for the last little bit. You need to get back to who you are. And you need to remember to trust your own intuition, to know that you do things just fine. Even if nobody else does them that way, you do things just fine. You're beautiful. Yeah. It's time. Okay. Okay. So, angels, which direction? Okay. It's time to nurture yourself. It feels like you've been not feeling very good lately, some of you. Maybe you've been ill, had a cold or something like that. Nurture yourself. Take like the good food. Get some bone broth, they're saying. All right. Get some bone broth. Get some of the good food, the fresh stuff, not processed foods. Get real food, lots of water, get lots of rest. It feels like you're just tired and kind of down a little. So maybe that means you've been sick, but maybe you've just lost your mojo a little bit, whatever, however that looks or feels to you. Nurture yourself until you can refuel, right? And you'll find that your passion will come back. It feels like you have kept your passion for some things, but some things it's dropped right off. And it might just be that those things are finished, that they're no longer vibing at your same level, right? So they're going to drop away. And that's totally fine and totally normal. But the things that you really think that, no, you're not done with those yet, or they're not done with you yet, it's it just feels like you're feeling a little low vibe lately, and it's just like that takes too much energy. You need to fill yourself up. Eat the good food, get all kinds of rest, have some good connections with people, right? Somebody who loves you and who understands you, to just sit beside you or something, or not even in the same room, just on a call or whatever it is. But it's just reassurance that you're real, and that yes, of course you're doing things the way you need to. Yeah. And there's that acceptance. So partly this is of the self, but partly it's that the world around you doesn't have the same standards you do. And it's like that's a hard one for you. For some of you, this is people that you think that you should be able to look up to, and you think that you should be able to respect them. It's not their fault. They don't know the same things you do. They've had their own experiences and their own traumas and things like that, and they've been damaged like we all have. And they're doing their best. So that they can't be on the same level as you has nothing to do with you, nor does it really have to do with them. They're just doing their own thing. And when you can come to accept that and realize that that's true of every single person, then you've really made some strides, right? Instead of letting that hurt you, you can just accept it. You can just realize. Now, there will always be some of that you will find hurtful because you've set your sights on them, right? And then they couldn't come through. Not their fault. You built up maybe more than what was actually there, or maybe your expectations changed partway through or something like that, right? And altogether, like, everybody's just being their own self, and to be able to accept that is a really key thing. It'll make it so that you can love people and have compassion for them and fully accept them, well, and realize that what you have with them is completely fulfilling. Yeah, yeah, and you're getting there. It feels like you've had this little bit of a dip just before now, or you're just coming out of it. Maybe you're still in it right now, but you're getting there. You're growing, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay. What are your priorities? What's your priorities? So, keeping going, making a living, raising your family, having the good life, all those things, feels like that's a priority for you. And that is, it feels good. It feels good. Don't forget the people, and don't forget your own self, right? Life has to feel good. That's how you keep your vibe high, is to feel good. That's all. It doesn't matter from what, you really enjoy the sense of accomplishment that you get when you start new things, or when you complete new things, or when you've done a job well and you've done it well, no matter what anybody else knows. And however you feel when you really love somebody, when there's that. If you don't have children, you probably can't really quite relate to this, but that feeling when you have children and they are just the most precious being in the entire world, and they just make your heart sing, and you feel so warm and so nurturing and so, oh man, you can't even describe it. That feeling is what keeps you up. Now, some people have that for their pets, that same feeling. And some people have that for their partner, or their parents, or their friends, and so, for everything, it is slightly different, just because, it's the different people, and the relationships will be different. But that feeling will be very similar. And so when you have that, when you absolutely experience joy, then your vibration goes really high. And the things that help you experience joy need to be your priorities, right? Yeah, that was kind of a long way of going around in circles to get to that priorities thing. But that's how that works. And so it is time to create something. So what are you working on? What are you using your imagination to make? Have fun with that. It feels like, for some of you it could be work related, but it feels like for more of you it's not. It feels like a project that you're working on, or something that you're developing, and and your angels just want you to have fun with that and experience a lot of joy, and understand that there's no pressure with this. This is yes, to be completed, but not to feel pressured over it, not to feel any anxiety over it. It's just for fun. Yeah. That's awesome. So here we have the daily guidance cards, and okay, 2 of them fell out. They say they want them both. Okay, last bit of wisdom for you. And they're kind of in the same category. That's why they want them both. Okay, cleanse and detoxify, release and surrender. So both of these things involve getting rid of toxins. So feeling, okay, eating the good food. I think we talked about that already with the nurturing and resting and all that kind of stuff, right? Drink lots of water. Do a detox. Could be a bowel cleanse, could be kidneys, could be liver, could be like an all over body cleanse. It could be, there's probably more. Check with a herbalist or a health food store, or a naturopath or somebody like that. Maybe it's a parasite cleanse, depending what's going on with you, right? Do those things. Get your physical body feeling better, and they're saying that that's going to remove the brain fog. Some of you have had brain fog. Okay, so now we know that. So that'll get rid of that yeast cleanse. Somebody needs a yeast cleanse. Okay. Also, so those are, the physical body things, but they translate also into things like brain fog, like the ability to think, the ability to keep your connection to the divine, right? To keep your third eye open. And that's the release and surrender part of it. You can start, excuse me, when you start with, so there's somebody here who part of this release involves speaking your truth, because that's why I'm getting this croaky throat. Sometimes it's mine, if I have a dry time or whatever, but this is not. This is to do with the reading. I can tell the difference. So those of you who have not been speaking your truth, who've been holding back because you didn't want, I don't even know what, you didn't want to hurt somebody, you didn't find it worth it, you knew it would fall on deaf ears. That's all true, and probably you made the best choice in the moment, but at some point you have to speak those things or get the frustration out. And it feels like this is all this, like believing in yourself too, like that kind of, when you're not able to speak what you mean and what you say, then how can you truly be yourself, right? And it feels like that has made you falter. So there's a recommendation they're telling me. This is something that I learned for myself a bunch of years ago, and man, does it work. When you're getting so that any tiny little thing will just set you off and you have these little bursts of anger or frustration or whatever it is, then you know that you're pretty much maxed out, right? So go somewhere out in the country where nobody can see you and nobody can hear you. Now, for some of you, this might be when you're at home alone and go in a room where you feel secure and yell and scream and stomp your feet and swear if you want to, and just get all that stuff out. Be a volcano that's spewing all these toxins, and do that like for as long as you can possibly keep it up. And you might feel sick, you might feel like throwing up, you might actually throw up. You probably will feel very ugly, because all that stuff is ugly when it's stuck in you. And who wants it inside? Don't let that ugliness stop you. Let all that stuff out, and do this regularly so that you don't get to that point of, right? Release all that stuff. And that way you'll be able to breathe. And you'll be able to know who you are. Okay. All right. Taurus. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I want you to know I love you, and I'll see you next week.